Hey there guys, this is Malorian and this is going to be a Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report, and it's also going to be a demo game for the Battle of the Beast tournament I have coming up just in about a month from now type thing on March 15th. Now what this is 3,000 points, Grand Army, just go get them. And the two biggest changes from the normal stuff you're going to be dealing with is one, it's going to be scored just on victory points. So if I kill 2,000 points, that's how many points I get. Doesn't matter if I won or lost. And the other thing too is it's based off two objectives. You'll be rolling to see what it is, and depending on how many of those you get an additional victory points. So if I get 0 of them, I get my 2,000 points. If I get 1 of them, I get an extra 50%, I get 3,000. If I get both, I double my victory points and I get 4,000 points. So it's pretty important that you go after those objectives. Now, past this as well, there's one more kind of like more silly fun rule where you can put any lord on any monster from any book. So for my part, I'm going to have an orc war boss on a Stonehorn. It's not really the smartest thing to do. If I face a cannon, I'm in a lot of trouble, but hey, I just love the model and it looks really cool. So either way, it's going to be Orcs versus Lizardmen. Let's see what happens. Alright, so first looking at my army, like I said, the thing I'll be running for my general is this Orc Warboss and a Stonehorn. And I just love the look of this. I was pretty surprised how well he fit on top of that little saddle there at the top. The way I have him kitted out is, of course, he has a charm shield to keep him alive. He also has a Sword of Bloodshed and a 5+ ward. So, you know, if you focus some stuff on him, he only has like a 4+ armor and a 5+ ward. But hopefully he'll get in there and do some damage before he dies. Looking now on his side, going from left to right, he's going to be having a little Scrock unit here on the left, unit of Saurus, and in there he'll have a Scarvet BSB. He has a Ancient Stegodon in the back and a Troglodyte. Then over here he has a unit of Skinks with a Skink Priest in there. It actually he's going to be 2 of these Skink Priests, and both will be going Heavens. Then he has his Temple Guard, and there is a Slan there who is going the lore master of the High Elf lore, basically, or whatever, lore of the old ones. Then there'll be the Cold One Riders, and then there's another Scarvet character, a couple of the Swarm bases, and a Bastiladon with the Snake Machine. And then finally here on the far right, more Skinks, and there's that second Skink Priest I told you about. Otherwise on my side, I'm running 20 Night Goblins. There's my 2 Squig Herd Hordes. I could have gone a little bit bigger, but just to make sure I fit everything in, I went with just 30 of the Squigs. I got 2 Doom Divers. I also got the Horde of Black Orcs. 1 Troll on this side, and you can see again another 20 Night Goblins, and I got my Night Goblin BSB there. And then on the other flank, I got another Troll, my Stonehorn Warboss, the Horde of the Savage Orc Biggins, and in there I have a Savage Orc Great Shaman who has Fencer Blades and a Dispel Scroll, and then 2 Rock Lubbas in the back, and finally on the far right that you can't see will be another 20 Night Goblins. Alright, so looking at the board here, the terrain that got put down was there's 2 buildings, 3 forests, there is the wall down the center where it makes you cause fear. The little lake there is actually one where you have to pass initiative tests, so there's D6 models, so stay the hell out of that thing. And then that building over there is Lore Master. Now, the way that this works is that you first roll for the type of deployment you do, and the one we got here is diagonal, so it goes from bottom right to top left, and basically those lines start from 18 inches in from the corners. So the way that works out is you're basically still 24 inches away from the opponent. You then put down your objectives, one in your own deployment, one in no man's land. So you can see I have little kegs, so I have the one by my rock lubbas and the ones off there on the right. For him, he has these kind of square bases, so he's going to have the one that you can see up by the dark gray tower, and then he has another one in the woods there that I believe right now is just behind the tree, so you can't see it. Now, then after that's done, you roll for what your objectives are. I get Sabotage, so what I need to do is get into base to base with his objectives, which, by the way, you can move through freely, and then stay there until the end of the following combat phase in the next turn. So if I move it into there, I need to still be there at the end of the Lizardmen combat phase. Each one of those is going to be worth 1 of the points. He rolled double 6 and got unconventional warfare, and what that basically means is at the end of the game, he needs to control 2 random of these. So we number them off, 1, 2, 3, 4, roll 2 dice. If it's a 5 or a 6, he gets to pick which ones they are, and yeah, it makes it a little bit more difficult for him because he never knows which ones they are. By the way that you can test it is you have to have a unit with at least 1 rank within 6 inches, where at least half the models in the unit are within those 6 inches. So yeah, it should be pretty interesting. In the back and forth here, I can really see now that a lot more of his power is going to be more to the left side, but hey, that's not too bad. I'm sure my Doom Divers will destroy his cav, and then I can really just control the right side, kill that Bastillodon, put pressure on his Slan, and also get to his objective. Meanwhile, on the left, it could be a little bit more dangerous with all the monsters, and he could always follow up with the Temple Guard as well. But I'm hoping that if I can really smash in there with at least my general, I can, you know, get rid of those Saurus, and I'll have to always see what my Rock Lobas do for me as well. So I get first turn, and I get some magic, and basically I put the Foot of Gork right on this unit of Saurus, and it scatters back onto his monsters there, but then does 1 wound to the Ancient Stegodon. So, you know, I would have liked a big chunk of these Saurus gone, but not too bad. And then after that, Gork just walked away. Shooting-wise, things start going a lot better. I hit 2 Doom Divers onto the cav here and just wipe out the entire unit, so that's pretty devastating for him. And then I send a rock towards the Ancient Stegodon to finish it off. 1 scatters off the board, the other 1 scatters onto the Troglodyte, and I do 6 wounds and kill it. So very, very strong first turn. And by the way, you can now see that second objective of theirs. So after everything's said and done, I'm moving up. Normally, you know, if this is a regular game, I wouldn't be moving up at all. I'd just stay back and say, hey, I outshoot you. But because I know I'm going to be getting an extra 50 or 100% victory points for destroying his objectives, I'm definitely going to be trying to move up. Except really the only place where I don't want to care about moving up too much is the Night Goblins on the far right. Each of my Night Goblin units have 2 Fanatics in them, so if they can do their job and keep those skins. So on his turn, he mainly just kind of moves up a bit here, but he is fairly cautious, especially after seeing what happened. The Temple Guard are now shifting more to the left side. With his magic, he didn't really get much of anything done, so I was happy for that. But in the shooting, he was able to do 2 wounds to the left troll there, so you know he's still hanging on, and that's good to see. Otherwise, he makes a new swarm base, and that's really it. So I mean, looking in the first turn here, things are really going my way. By the way, the forest that he went into, that's the one where everything's it's a venomous thicket, so it's all dangerous terrain. And the one for me is actually the fungus forest, so I'll be stupid. But the nice thing about having my general in Stonehorn is my bubble's 18 inches, so I'll be just fine. So on my turn here, I have some animosity issues. My Night Goblins decide to fight with my Savage Orcs, and that means that not only will these units not be marching on his objective, I also won't get a magic phase. So, you know, it happens. Otherwise, over here, I have 2 charges. My Troll goes into the Skinks, and then I have my Squigs going into the Swarms. And it's a pretty easy one. Right now, his Cold One Scarvet was joined with the unit, so at first he couldn't make way, but after I beat them and they were, you know, they held, he now this reformed over, so he'll be touching me there. Otherwise, I destroy the Swarm, and I just turn to face his Bastillodon. And this is what it really looks like overall. Unfortunately, charging that up, I mean, I am getting kind of bogged up now where I'm in 3 different layers here between the Squeak-Herd Hordes and the Black Orcs, but that's not so bad. Otherwise, since things are being held up with animosity on the left, I threw up the 1 troll there just to redirect. You know, he doesn't have any Skink Priest there, so if he goes after me, he'll be showing probably his flank to me, so that should really slow him down. And otherwise, yeah, I tried putting my shooting into his Ancient Stegodon there to finish it off, but just whereas my first round of War Machines were doing awesome, this turn they didn't really do much of anything at all. They kill a few of the Saurus, but that's pretty much it. So on his turn here, he kills my troll. His magic phase, again, very disappointing. I believe this is one where he just failed to cast any of his spells. So we're both having trouble with our magic phase so far. Otherwise, he moves up, starts doing some shooting with his Ancient Stegodon, and that does 2 wounds and strips off my Charm Shield. So yeah, the Stonehorn is down 2 wounds, and that kind of hurts. Otherwise, in the combat there, he moves up the Bastiladon just to kind of drop snakes on me. No damage, though. And he easily kills my troll because he has the Piranha Blade there. So, yeah, that was a dead troll. So, the way things look now, it's still not too bad. I should be able to charge in, start controlling. I mean, the way that I'd love to see this is the Stonehorn charges into the Temple Guard. Meanwhile, the Savage Orcs just march onto his objective and say, hey, I dare you to try and get us off it. And then, yeah, Squigs can start eating some Bastiladon. Oh, but of course I get Animosity here, so these guys will be doing nothing. And otherwise, yeah, this is how it looks. So I failed the charge with the Stonehorn. I charged into Bastiladon, and I thought, you know, he's out of range of the Slan. I'm going to really crush him with a lot of Strength 5 attacks. I know he's a 2+ armor save, but that just brings it down to a 4+. I'm on 3+, 4+ for all these attacks, but I screw up my 4+, only do a couple of wounds, and then with his Thunderstomps, he kills enough to tie combat. So with that, I then reform over to make sure those Skinks and the Scarvet will be in the front and not in the flank. And then otherwise, because now I'm worried that maybe his Stegodon or something could be charging my Stonehorn, I move my Night Goblins out of the building. So like I said, they have Fanatics and they can hopefully help us. But yeah, that could have gone a lot better. And like I said, you know, War Machines really kind of had hoped that I could be killing this Stegodon here, but it's just not working. So on his turn, this is now on the far left there, he moved over to try and see and shoot my unit here, the Night Goblins, and in doing so release my Fanatics, but neither of them made it to him. Otherwise over here, yeah, I was actually kind of surprised to see that the Scarvet just took off and joined his strong left side there, and then in the combat, again, I did no wounds to him. He crushes me with Thunderstomps, and then with that, he wins combat. I explode, and I'm gone. So I did no wounds, or maybe 1 wound to the Bastiladon with the explosion. I killed all the Skinks, and then that made the one Skink Priest go running off. So 1 unit down, and worse yet here as well, is that his Bastiladon is just out of the arc of line of sight for this other Squig Horde. So things just aren't really working here on the right flank. Otherwise, over here, we're kind of more at a standstill. He is kind of moving up now. He does a little bit to me, but at this point here now, I'm in a good spot where I can move up and shoot off my Fanatics. So end of his turn, this is kind of what it looks like. And yeah, I mean, after the astounding first turn, things are really kind of grinding to a halt for my Orcs and Goblins, and I need to start getting in there and getting more points. So on my turn, I get off this charge. Sorry about the fuzzy picture. But something else to show here too is that he'd also done another 2 wounds with that Ancient Stegodon to my Stonehorn. So he's just down to 2 wounds left. So I really need to get in here to do something before I die. Otherwise, over here, I move up. 1 Fanatic gets to him, 1 doesn't. Kills a whole bunch. He fails his panic, runs through that one, which totally destroys all the other Skinks, and also does 1 wound to the Chief as he's running off there. Otherwise, what happens is that I reform to face the Bastiladon, taking the risk that I'll be taking a flank charge from his Ancient Stegodon. Meanwhile, the Black Orcs are trying to follow up the middle. Shooting magic again was nothing because, you know, fun times, just wasn't able to get anything off. I do move up. I marched up hoping I could get to objective, but fell 1 inch short. Shooting was able to take out the Ancient Stegodon end that one fleeing skink priest, so that was pretty nice. And then in the combat, I issue a challenge. He uses an egg, which does a wound to my general there, so that kind of hurts, but I'm able to win the combat or tie the combat, whatever it was, but I'm still there, ready to kill some stuff, and hopefully now things can actually go a bit better. So on his turn, he charges me with his Scarvet on the cold one, and I shoot out my fanatics and kill him, so that's always nice. The only thing that's not nice is having a fanatic right by your very expensive lord. After his magic phase, he is able to do the fiery conflagration or whatever. Whatever he did, he did the other one, Tempest, to my savages, killing a few of them, and also got it so that his Saurus were +2 weapon skill and initiative. And then after this was done, yeah, basically the Bastiladon said, screw you, and it just ran behind me, so that's going to be annoying. And in the combat there, I issue a challenge. He takes it with his Scarvet. He tries to kill my Stonehorn, but he gets kind of diced and only does the one wound. So I stay alive, kill his Scarvet, and I'm still in there. Meanwhile, his Scrox unit turned more to face the center, and yeah, that's really it. So on my turn, I have massive animosity problems again. The Night Goblins at the top there, they have to charge. Then my savages go and pick a fight with the Night Goblins there in the bottom. And then my other Squig Horde has to charge or do nothing. And there's no one to charge, so I guess they'll do nothing. Oh, animosity. How I hate you. Otherwise, over here, I had to charge the flank of the skink unit. I might get lucky, but odds are he'll hold and then just turn and face me. The one fanatic did go through my Stonehorn, and I thought, okay, that's it, I'm screwed. But luckily, thanks to Toughness 6, did no wounds to me, and I survived the fanatic going through my very expensive lord. After this is all said and done, the Black Orcs turn back to deal with that Bastiladon. All my War Machines are trying to shoot it, but I just can't do anything. Everything's scattering off. In the combat there, I do beat the Skinks, but like I said, he just holds and turns to face me. In the combat there, I'm able to do a little bit of damage to him, but he's able to kill my Stonehorn, so that's sad news. Would have been really nice to do some Thunderstomps and things with him. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Alright, so on his turn, now he gets the Fiery Conflagration off on my savages. They're just having a really bad day. He also does one wound to my shaman, and again he gets off the +2 weapon skill initiative onto his Saurus. He also turns to face my guys there, and so, yeah, or that already happened, but the Temple Guard are kind of turning because they want to kind of deal. So after this is done, the Bastiladon is saying, well, I might as well run towards the Doom Divers now, so he does that, drops some snakes but does no damage. Actually no, he does one wound, but that's not enough to really matter. He destroys the Night Goblins, kills my general after I whiff my dice and kill like one guy. And yeah, all of a sudden, I mean, again, if you're comparing this to the first turn, I thought I was going to be all over him and this would be so easy. And yeah, all of a sudden now this is all falling apart. Now, looking at this, I do have a big plan that what I'm going to do is charge his skink unit, crush them, beat them. Hopefully the fanatic doesn't go into me, and then when I overrun, I'll be basically in the flank of the source, so I'll go into them and pick up all those points. So hopefully that can save me here at the end. So the Black Orcs, they charge into Bastiladon, and that's all going to be an easy win. And over here, I charge in, and this is what I'm talking about, where I'm going to set myself up so that the majority of my unit will be on the flank of the Saurus, and hopefully this will all work. But unfortunately, I get a double 1 magic phase, which means I cannot dispel Fiery Conflagration or Fiery Burn, ouch, ouch. And yeah, that means I'm going to be losing tons of these savages that I didn't plan on. And then at least then the fanatic went through him rather than me. But yeah, I just lost a bunch more of my savages, and that's not what I needed. And another thing that I didn't need is that when I went in there and killed a bunch of skinks like I was supposed to, his Croxagore go crazy, also rolling a bunch of 6s so they get extra attacks, and so they killed enough that he only lost by 5 or something, and then he held. So Luckily, the Saurus will be on the flank, and since I have the Fencer Blades, they won't do much damage to me, but man, I really thought I'd be doing a lot better here. So overall, it looks like this. The Squeakherd Horde basically just turned the face, and the Bastillodon was killed, but man, this thing's getting bloody and getting pretty dicey. So on his turn, like we say, the Saurus come in here and they charge in the flank. And yeah, in the magic phase, I had to use my dice to dispel that fiery conflagration, burn, burn, ouch, ouch. And yeah, it didn't matter. You know, again, I killed off all the skinks, killed a Saurus or two, and then his Croc Score just go to town, kill tons of my guys, I break, I get run down, and that's a lot of points, and it hurts. By the way, I did kill his other Skink Priest on the far right, so this is really all he has, but it still is quite a few points, especially since I got none of my objectives. Then we roll for him. This was one of his objectives, so he gets this one. And for the random one, we got 5 or 6, so he picks this one here too, and bam, he gets both his objectives, doubles his victory points, and just like that, when we add it up, it would have been a tie, but because of his doubling, he gets a big win. So the only thing that's kind of left after is that there's always a little mini game that kind of helps encourage you to take these big monsters. So what you do after is you have a little mini game where your most expensive lords basically battle it out. They get one chance to shoot and do magic at each other, and then they both count as charging. And clearly this one's very one-sided, and so the winner gets an extra 500 victory points. But even with that, that's not going to be enough to pull me up and get the win. Basically, I get 2,100 to his 3,500. So there you go, really big turnaround from what you saw there in the first turn. First turn, I thought I was just going to destroy him, but a couple factors changed that. Of course, I had some, animosity. I can't believe that happened 3 times, the double ones. But it happens, and that really slowed down my left flank. Meanwhile, on the right flank, I mean, with me having 2 Squeakherd Hordes and the Black Orcs, I thought it was going to decimate that side. It's going to be so easy. But, you know, got a little bit of dice problems there with the Bastillodon, and then we just started bogging each other up and do some you know, charge angles and stuff. That Bastillodon made a lot of trouble, and really looking at it, maybe I should have had the Black Orcs in the front and really just kind of thrown them up to get in the fight there. Plus, in a system like this, you don't really care if you ever lose it, because the fact that you're your opponent might get more victory points than you means nothing. You want to get as many victory points as possible so that at the end of the day, when you add it all up, you get lots of victory points and you're the big winner. So I probably should have been a little bit more aggressive as well, just because, hey, you know, his Temple Guard maybe could charge me and I would die, but I would get the points, right? I'd start chewing him up. So, I don't know, different ways I could have played it, but either way, lots of fun. Hope you liked watching it, and if you're in Edmonton or Calgary, damn, come out to the tournament. So we'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Bye.